Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am trying out a new foundation. This is the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid Hydrating Foundation. Now this seemed right up my alley. I love some of the other Maybelline foundations, but they've never really been like 100% for me because a lot of times they're more full coverage or drier. But this one, it sounds like it's right up my alley, so I can't wait to give it a try. I'm gonna dive right in to keep this video a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna use the No Problem Priming Water to get my face ready. This is one of my favorites. I really just wanted to use some real staple products that I know and love. That way I can compare it to what I typically do and wear. All right, so a few details. There are key benefits listed. It says it doesn't clog pores, dermatologist tested. It's a lightweight hydrating foundation. It hydrates the skin formulated with hyaluronic acid and collagen. It has medium coverage for normal to dry skin and delivers instant radiance that glows. It says it has 12 hours of hydration, we shall see, and it comes in 20 different shades, providing smooth and even looking skin. So 20 shades obviously isn't that great of a range, but compared to a lot of drugstore foundations, it's kind of par for the course. CoverGirl really kills it with their color range, and I feel like maybe other brands will kind of follow suit. So I got the shade 02 Fair Porcelain. I looked at the shades in store because you can find it at Ulta, you can check them out, and I was between this one and the next shade up, but I felt like if the next shade oxidized even slightly, it would be kind of orange and too dark for me. So we're just gonna hope that this works. I mean, I am on the fair side right now, obviously, but I feel like I've maintained a little bit of my color from the summertime. So we're just gonna hope for the best. Oh, I think it's gonna look pretty good. It doesn't look like immediately super light. Like, it always looks light against my face, but when you look at my neck, that's a burn. That is a burn from a curling iron right there, so please don't think that that is a hickey. I think hickeys are the most trashy thing ever. So let's see, obviously light against my skin, looking a little bit red. Immediately I'm noticing a pretty good coverage. I think the color is still a little light, but we're gonna hope that maybe as it warms to the skin, it's gonna look okay. I can always warm it up. This isn't so bad. Like, it looks a little light, but it's not extreme. Okay, not bad. One little pump. That was one full pump that I used. So we're gonna move over here. Oh dear. The more I look at it, the lighter I look. But it's okay. It's not so white that I can't make it work. We're gonna obviously do bronzing and contouring and stuff like that. So I feel confident it'll look okay. I'm really more so testing the formula for you guys, of course. That's what I'm more interested in than, you know, is this color right for me? I can always pick up that next shade. Looking a little ghostly. Okay, so far so good. It doesn't seem to be grabbing in my dry areas, which I definitely have right now. And it doesn't seem to be like settling weird or anything. I'm gonna add just a little bit of extra coverage right here. So far, I'm not seeing it oxidize anywhere. We'll see if that changes as we go on, but so far so good. I'm not seeing any color change. It kind of wants to pick up as I'm trying to apply more right here. It kind of wants to pick up and move, but sometimes that's just the initial little bounce and then it'll correct itself. Okay, not bad. Obviously, if you can just ignore the color, it is a little bit too light for my neck, and it's definitely like a nice cool color though. Like, this was described as their fair cool color, so I was like, oh, let me get that. And like I said, I compared the two, but just went with this one, and I probably could have used the shade darker. I'm gonna go ahead and add some concealer. Now, this concealer is really light, so it's probably gonna look about the same, but this is the Jeffree Star concealer. I just know how this one performs with other foundations, other products. It tends to blend really well no matter what the foundation. And just to make sure I look completely like Casper, I'm gonna set my face with some RCMA powder. Funny how these light foundations always work out in the end though. Like, at first I'm like, oh my god, it's so light. And then once you do your bronzing and contouring and all that, it's totally fine. Oh my god. Let me tell you that I had my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer right here and I didn't use it. But the funny thing is, this is settling so nicely over my pores. I'm like, what is happening? It's looking really nice. That being said, like, the fact that I used no smoothing primer and just a hydrating primer, and yet it's really kind of just like glided over and it's not settling into my pores so far. So at first glance, I'm really liking this. Wow, I mean, everything's looking really good apart from the color clearly. But I like the way it looks so far. It feels nice on the skin. It's got a little bit of tackiness, but it doesn't feel incredibly hydrating. Like, not in a bad way. Like, it feels like it's a little hydrating, but it doesn't feel like oily or like it doesn't cover enough or like it wants to just separate, which some hydrating foundations don't cover that well at all, even if they're medium. So I feel like this one's doing a really decent job. I am going to finish off my makeup and warm up my skin a little bit. Clearly I need some bronzing, so I'm gonna do that really quick and then I will show you guys how my foundation is looking afterwards. All right, so here is my finished makeup. I obviously look really bright in certain areas, but I think I was able to tone it down and make it look pretty decent, even considering it was a bit light. As I'm looking in the mirror right now, I'm seeing a couple things that I'm not super thrilled with, unfortunately. The first is, you know, it's not looking that great on my skin. I actually look a little bit dry, and granted, obviously I've just recently finished my makeup, but for it to be a radiant, hydrating foundation, hyaluronic acid, collagen, my skin doesn't look plump, it doesn't look hydrated. I definitely don't look glowy at all. If anything, I'm looking pretty dry, but I am gonna give that some time. Obviously, just powdering your face, you're gonna see the driest state of your foundation right at the beginning, but I'm not living for it. Like, obviously, I didn't use a smoothing primer, but at the same time, I feel like the texture in my skin is a little bit more noticeable. Not dramatically though, it's not that bad. I used a hydrating primer, a hydrating setting mist, and a radiant foundation, and yet all that still wasn't able to kind of overcome the powder, which usually I don't have a problem with. I don't cake on so much powder that I look super dry usually. Like, even with a matte foundation, I can make myself look a little bit more luminous, and I'm not really seeing that here. I will say this though, the coverage is medium. I actually think it's pretty darn good coverage. I didn't do a lot to build it up. You can see a little bit of my, you know, imperfections peeking through, but that's not a big deal for me. I see where it's trying to start creasing on my smile line. As I've said many times though, that's a given for me. Like, if something doesn't crease, that's when it's like a miracle and it's amazing. But as far as this goes, I'm not living for it, but it's looking decent. So I definitely will need to check in with you guys throughout the day. I'm seeing some things already that I don't like, but sometimes I'm more impressed with the foundation a couple hours into wearing it. Once your skin has adjusted, you've produced a little bit of oil to kind of come back to life. And, you know, sometimes that's when your foundation looks the best, is a little while later. I know a lot of people probably think like, oh, you just did your foundation, you should look amazing. But, you know, you do look a little bit more powdery at that time. So I'm going to give this some wear. I'm going to talk to you guys in a little bit. I do have kind of a full day, but I will find some time to check in and let you guys know how the foundation is doing. I didn't mention too, this is $12.99. It's obviously drugstore, so you'll be able to get it at local drugstores. You can get it at Ulta. That's where I picked it up. $12.99, you know, I used to think of as like a high price point for drugstore, but I feel like most brands are kind of getting to that point anyway. It's harder to find some that are under $10, like unless you're doing Wet n Wild, which they have a new hydrating one too that I need to pick up and try out. But I'm not mad at this so far. I'm kind of like cautiously pessimistic. Does that make sense? Like, I want to like this, but if I don't look radiant after using all these hydrating products, then it's kind of like, what's the point? It doesn't seem like it's that radiant at all. And like I said, when I first started bouncing it in, it didn't feel hydrating. It didn't feel, you know, oily or anything like that. It kind of felt normal. So I feel like this is more of a natural finish. That's just my first impression at this moment. So I will check in with you guys in a little bit and we will keep tabs on how this foundation holds up. And just because it's, you know, not radiant enough for me doesn't mean you won't like it. You may like that it's more of a natural finish, but it definitely isn't, as of this moment, doing what it says it's going to do. So we're going to check in and I will let you guys know how it's doing, and I hope you're enjoying so far. I'll see you in 1 second. All right, so it is check-in time. As you can see, we're a little bit closer, so you can hopefully see some details. You can ignore that. I have a breakout that like the skin is peeling off, but I'm not thrilled with the way that this foundation is looking, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, I'm seeing, you know, texture. I would say it is medium coverage, but maybe like not a super good medium coverage, if that makes sense. Like medium going just slightly sheer, but for the most part I feel like that's on par. I did become shinier and more radiant through the day, but obviously that's with just the natural oils in my skin coming through, and I don't feel like this starts out as a radiant foundation. If it's not radiant within the first couple of hours, I don't feel that it's really living up to that name. Also, I had kind of higher expectations that it was radiant, hydrating, hyaluronic acid, collagen. I definitely had some higher expectations as to like what it would actually look like on the skin, but I just feel like it doesn't look that good. It definitely separated a little bit, but what I'm seeing that I don't normally see is that I have areas where it looks like I had no foundation on, and even in the area where it started creasing, it's almost like the foundation just kind of went away, which I don't usually have problems with that. So you know, it's just not looking that pretty. I don't think it really lives up to the radiant part of it, because I've been wearing this foundation now for almost 11 hours. Like, I had a whole work day and came home before, you know, showing you guys this. But that's what it's looking like. Let me know what you think about it. I am just kind of like so-so. I don't think it's awful by any means, but I cannot rave about this one. I don't think it's anything that special. But there are other foundations coming out that I'm really excited about. If you see any foundations you want me to review in this manner where we try it on, let it wear, all that good stuff, then let me know. I definitely want to pick up the new Wet n Wild, and I already just got in the mail today the new CoverGirl one. Hopefully that one will match better than today, but I seem to keep picking shades that are a little bit light and I just can't get my head out of it. So yeah, I'm underwhelmed. I just have to be honest. $13 isn't bad, but I don't really have anything that great to say. It's not a fail product, but it's just not going to be like something I want to reach for all the time. So hopefully that was a little bit more concise than normal. I know that I always have these like wishy-washy kind of feelings because, you know, I don't want to like diss this because I like a lot of Maybelline products and I don't want to hate on it, but it just didn't really do anything that great for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this review. Let me know what you think below if you've tried it and what your experience is. So make sure you give a thumbs up if you like these type of reviews, just so I know that I should keep doing them for you guys. Also, it really helps me out, so anything you guys do, the subbing, the liking, the commenting, it means a lot to me, so thank you so much, and I will see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye!